I have 63 packages to carry to the post office tomorrow because Paige was too lazy to ship over the holiday weekend.
One-foot-flipper.
Hey, how's it going? Paige here, the one-foot-flipper. I'm doing pretty good myself. I had an amazing weekend of sales, although since these videos sometimes get filmed out of order, that was probably over a week ago at this point. We're going to talk about some serious issues today, so hold on to your hats and don't get offended because it's probably not about you specifically. Now, when I started reselling, at first I was all in. I was certain I was going to get sick again, just like I did when I lost my leg, and get sick again and die. And then leave my family with nothing. My wife wouldn't have made enough money to support my daughter and make this house payment on her own. And once her car wore out, she wouldn't have enough money to replace it. Yada, yada, yada. 17 months later, I paid off our house. 6 months after that, I had stuck 20 grand in our retirement accounts. At that point, the urgency of the reselling had kind of died off for me. With the paid off house, our wife could afford to raise our daughter on our own. If something happened to me, she wouldn't have to move in with her parents. And it seemed to stop mattering how much money I made anymore. And right now, it still doesn't. All of our bills get paid regardless of how much money I make or don't make. The only real crunches is things like when I needed a new prosthetic leg, actually having $8,000 in ready cash that wasn't locked up in retirement accounts or other investments that I couldn't easily break without taking a penalty. Not that I'm bragging. I'm sure a lot of you are worth way more than I am. Now, I had a goal at first there to buy a bigger house at an all-cash deal within a few years. This was still, right at the end of when there was still a little bit of COVID money flowing around, and my house is pretty small. If you're living in a house, it's probably bigger than mine. This place is about half the size of your average suburban house. However, that general downturn in reselling combined with a complete lack of killer bulk buys for me seemed to put that out of reach, so I kind of dropped it. See, I had 3 crazy bulk buys my first 2 years, and I haven't had one since. However, about a month ago, I decided I needed something to shoot for again. So I decided to start going all out again, but this time I decided I'm going to put the channel first. After all, as far as I know, I'm the only one who ever said I couldn't get to 100,000 subscribers. Now, I'm sure you're all thinking that right now, but at least you're not saying it. I'm sure some of you will say it in the comments. So since then, I've been 3 long-form videos a week, 3 shorts a day, trying to list things, replicate that work ethic that I see in the most successful people in this space. Only part I'm leaving out is the live auctions. I'm not a big fan of those. So because of this, I study statistics related to the reseller space heavily. There's websites where you can get them. Social Blade's one of them. I see who's going up, who's going down, who's quit the space entirely, how's everybody doing as a whole this month, that sort of thing. And since the beginning of the month, I started looking at stats for last month. And as far as I can tell, November 2024 has been the worst month in YouTube reselling in years. I mean, it is bad out there for views. Didn't hit everybody, but overall, it is a crash. And now I specifically checked the stats of the people on flipweekly.com's ultimate list of YouTube channels. It's a pretty good curated list of 35 channels. It does give ADH, Dave, and American Arbitrage an unfair advantage because it goes in alphabetical order. Because I don't think anyone is going to make it to the end of the list to check out Zach the Zookeeping Flipper. But anyway, I figure that's a good enough list. It actually leaves off some obvious ones that I tend to check on myself anyway, but overall, I think it's a good list for me to take as a whole, and I didn't make the list myself, so it's not going to just hit my favorites or whatever. Honestly, it hits people that I've never heard people mention, so that's what I go with. Now, I'm going to dive into some things here, but I'm specifically going to try not to call out anyone's individual statistics, other than to say that Harry Tornado, who's not on this list, had a nice monthly uptick in views. Good for you, Haley and Josh. You made it through this November crash just fine. Looking at the rest of these stats, though, I see in most cases a long downward trend in both monthly views and monthly new subs, with many channels reaching multi-year lows, specifically last month in November 2024. The channels that concentrate hardest on flipping content were the ones that are the hardest hit. You know, the business channels, the people like me who mostly just show the sales and give tips and never show any garage sale content. While those garage sale contents are picking focus channels, they did a little bit better. And several of the channels on the list seem to have pretty much up and quit or have cut their releases back so incredibly that they're not even on the range anymore. They're down 98, 99%. Daily Refinement, not on the list. He completely stopped doing long form videos a few months ago. So he's the only really huge channel I've seen that seems to have sort of quit. But he does still do a live Q&A every once in a while. And he's keeping up some pretty good monthly view numbers considering the long form videos have totally stopped. So I guess, hey, good for you. A quick informal check of several of the people in my little chat group. They're mostly lower sub count channels, my size or below, and that I talk to on an almost daily basis. They mostly had November YouTube stats that fell within their normal ranges. Of course, the people with higher views also have much further to fall, so it just might not be as evident in the smaller sub count channels. And when I'm saying that there's a crash, I'm saying a lot of channels literally had a 50% drop between October and November. Or if you look at their chart, it's their all-time low. And flipping focus channels, they're being the hardest hit. And the channels that focus specifically on garage sale footage have done so much better. That would make sense at first since garage sale footage videos attract a lot of people who don't resell. However, there's a couple channels in the space that I would consider to be pawn shop channels, really. And those channels are just as hard hit as the flipper channels. People are tuning out. Hey, if you made it this far, could you hit that subscribe button? Help me fight against that November crash. It doesn't cost you anything. It means the world to me. All right, let's look at some sales. I'm having an exceptional amount of sales for a Tuesday. I guess some people are already home on extended vacation who took extra days for Thanksgiving or whatever. Let's look at what we sold here. Adam's Family Uncle Fester card game, $19.48. Got this at the Goodwill outlet. Going by the weight, probably cost me about 80 cents for this. Not bad. This is why I don't like sports cards. This is the 1990 Topps Baseball complete set, all 792 cards, sold for $6.33. Almost the entire value of this box is in the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, which isn't a rare card. I'm not sure. Sure, Ken Griffey Jr. is great, but why is his card worth 100 times whatever the card in the set is when they're all equally common? There is no shortage of Ken Griffey Jr. rookies out there. No shortage at all. Sold 2 packs of Legion card dividers, $2.99 for the pair. Card nuts use these to, write they'll write Ken Griffey Jr. right on here, and they'll put all their Ken Griffey Jr. rookies from their 1990 top sets that they pulled the rookie out of, and then ruin the rest of the set. That is a thing, by the way. If you find that 90s top set, make sure the Ken Griffey Jr. is in there. Otherwise, the set is worthless. Sold a Holly Jolly Snowman ornament, custom. This is going to say Mark Davis on it. Right now, it says Special Teacher. This one's been in my store about 2 years, so it's all dusty. This is a John Perry hand-carved driftwood dolphin sculpture. This sold for only $9.13. I bought this with a large John Perry collection. Everything else sold 2 years ago at $30, $40, $50, $60 and up. But this guy was just so little. Oh, also he has no John Perry markings on him or signature whatsoever. That might have something to do with it. He got marked down continually for years, $9.13. Okay, viewer Jackie bought a whole bunch of stuff for roughly $43. Let's look it over. She got 3 different of the round ornaments, 1 sledding girl ornament, She got this cocktail box. I used to keep my favorite dice in this box. Koala Bear Christmas tree ornaments, 3-pack. A race car Minnie Mouse. I guess let's take her out of the bag. This one's been in my store for a while because I had quantity on it. I found a whole bunch of these, like one right after the other, like 2 years ago. I think this was my last one. And a piece of vintage Tupperware. Thank you very much, Jackie. Panasonic pencil sharpener, sold for $9.12. Electric pencil sharpeners basically always sell. I prefer to pick them up at garage sales though, not at the bins. They're heavy enough where they're often not worth purchasing at the bins. This one I'm proud of because this is one of those long-tail lottery tickets that paid off. I paid 50 cents for this Winking Lizard Tavern menu only a month and a half ago. And it sold for $8. Yeah, random old menu, but not that old, to a restaurant with about 8 locations in Ohio. And somebody bought it that quick. I assumed it would be a long time. Viewer Catherine bought a lot of 6 of these identical Secret Pal Hallmark ornaments. Raccoons, there's 6 of them all together. Thank you, Catherine. Several people bought Pokemon holiday greeting cards for $3.50 each. I can fill these out and send them to another address, send them directly for you if you want. Just make sure you put that address in the, make sure you change the ship to address to that address and give me a note as to what you want me to write inside it. And finally, I sold a 6-pack of snow globe craft kits for kids. All right, that's all I have for today, but it's only 4:30. Could be more later. All right, this one never made it downstairs before it sold. Brunswick Mark X bowling ball, translucent. Paid $5, sold for $275 in about a week. Now, why is this happening? I asked a few of my friends. Rocky Top Picker, he says he's dropped off a lot on his channel just due to a lack of motivation and the money not being worth it. Of course, he still hosts one of the best podcasts in the space, the Reseller Locker Room Podcast. You can find him there and on his own channel. Well, Max, the fast-talking flipper, was more bearish on the space. He said, the category is stagnant and overrepresented. We have all but stopped watching the category because it's either full of clickbait, bad information, or just plain terrible content. Reaping what you sow is actively happening. And then I'm not going to go into any of the rest of Max's quote because once again I said I'm not going to say anything specifically bad about anybody in this video. You can find Max on his Fast Talking Flipper channel. Jimmy the Dolphin Flipper, or the JDF, he said, I know I personally stopped watching a lot of channels because the videos were too long. A couple of channels I got tired of the smugness / attempts to be cutesy. And I've also spent a lot of time watching videos about new hobbies. So a little bit of that viewer fatigue there. You can find the JDF in my shorts and on other people's podcasts. He specifically doesn't have his own channel because of a clause in his employment contract. Shane, Soda City Flip, says he just doesn't know. But he's looking forward to finding out if I figure it out. And I'm trying to figure it out. But I don't think it's going to come down to a single cause here. But I've got 4 big ones that I think could be it. Is it 4? Yeah, it's 4. Okay, first one. Casual reselling and the viewing of reseller channels in general boomed during the pandemic years. However, the last 2 years have not been great for online sales overall. And I imagine a lot of those casual or new sellers, they gave up on reselling. And they also gave up on watching reseller channels. Maybe they put that Mickey D's hat on and went back because that would actually make them more money than they were making reselling. This is probably most evident in the absolute largest channels because those channels are continuing to gain thousands of subs per month, largely because the biggest channels tend to be the first channels that people discover when they're get into this sort of content. But their views continue to go down every single month. Second possible reason is a lot of the big channels have started moving to live selling. That's actually channels of all sizes. And that move almost universally seems to trigger a downturn in views on flipper channels. And that's for many reasons. The first reason it causes a downturn is that nobody really wants to watch flipper videos that are about whatnot. Very few people aspire to be a live seller as opposed to just being a reseller, because a live seller means you give up a lot of that freedom that you got from reselling in the first place. Yeah, you're still your own boss, but now suddenly you got to keep a much more regular schedule. You've got to have those live shows during prime times in the evening. It's much more of a grind. It's not the same thing. And there's not as much to say about the subject in flipper videos in general anyway. Especially since you're not showing the sales from your lives on your flipper videos, because all that stuff's already gone and packed off the next morning. Meanwhile, a lot of the diehard fans, they start viewing the live sales instead of the long form videos. Now that's great for your purchases at first, but I'm going to bet most of them start tapering those purchases off after a while. Sure, the first time you buy that Build-A-Bear from Jimmy the Dolphin Flipper, I bet it's pretty exciting. And it gets less exciting each time, to the point where you're still showing up at the sales, but you're just watching and talking in the chat. Maybe you're buying something once a week, or not even that. You know what I'm saying. And that even hits the garage sale channels to some extent, because people are only going to put so much fan time in to one person. And if you've got a garage sale channel and you're doing whatnot too, and your fans are watching your lives every single day, they might start dropping off and watching your long forms because they're just getting enough of you as it is. In fact, I've never actually examined the statistics of a YouTube reseller who went all in on live selling that didn't start going down massively in monthly views soon after. And I imagine live selling can also just cause video fatigue from the content creator themselves. It's got to be hard to go out and make a long form video, come up with your ideas and film it and edit for those who have ideas, and film it and edit it, and have a script for those who have a script and all that, when you're also out there making an hour-long video every evening and then having to pack up all those $4 orders. It's got to be tough. Third reason, I think some of the channels or the people behind the channels might be in financial trouble. I'm sure during the COVID reselling boom in reselling video views that some people found themselves making double or triple their normal income, if not even more. And I'm sure some of those people expanded their lifestyle. New houses, new cars, various other expensive habits. And now that their sales are down 30 to 50% and their views are down 50 to 90%, they're having a lot of trouble keeping up with that lifestyle. Now, I have no idea who this is or not. It's only a little small percentage of reseller channels who purposely flaunt their lifestyles, and those are the channels who tend to be kind of grinding the quick buck video. This is how you're going to make 6 figures income. You're going to do it this way and that way and make 6 figures. Some of those do. But you do see some things in the background. Usually, but not many are flaunting those new houses or new cars. True fact, my family owns 5 cars. However, if I walked outside right now, only 2 of them would start. And they probably have an average value of around $2,000 each. And we haven't taken a single vacation, not even a day trip, since my channel started. So, and a few people have flat out stated in their videos that their income is down so much they're having trouble paying their bills. Period. They have actually said it. A money crunch like that is going to come with a lot of stress, desperation, possibly depression. This could lead to, your phoned in videos made as quickly as possible so they can get back to somehow, some way, trying to keep up with the house and car payments that they took out back when they made 3 times as much money. And not wanting to force their spouse to go back to work and to quit homeschooling because, the spouse quit the job to homeschool the children because they were making plenty of money. trying not to force that change in their life either, and it's going to be pretty stressful. And the fourth one, it could just be viewer fatigue. A lot of the current top channels gained their popularity around the same time during the pandemic. Maybe viewers are getting tired of them, or the channels may just be evening out to what is going to be their real long-term norm. TV show might peak with 10 million viewers in the third season, then might be down to 2 million viewers an episode of the sixth season, but just continue to coast that way for years, and that's fine. And that's what may be happening with some of these channels. That I'm not sure of either. Either way, put your own ideas in the comments. Try not to badmouth anybody in the comments. And thanks for making it all the way to the end. If you know anybody who's on a long downward trend or possibly an all-time low, why not tell them about this channel? Thanks, and I hope to see you again soon.
See, that's One Foot Flipper's nonsense video.
So the continual Funko Pop crash / slide is getting weird lately. There's a lot of accounts selling Funko Pops at $5 shipped. It costs $4.64 to send one of those out. You lose about 62 cents on the transaction, assuming you got the pop in the box for free. What is the end game for these accounts? Why don't they just throw them directly in the trash where they belong? I don't know. I just don't know.